Addie Silders. Now, I don't know if you could tell from what's behind me, but I have a problem. I love books. I've been reading for as long as I can remember. It's coming up 10 years of me being a book blogger, which means that in my 28 years of life, I have bought a lot of books, and I've been sent a lot of books. Whenever I buy a new book, or I get sent something shiny in a package, I take it and I place it on my TBR book case. I no longer have a TBR pile, I have a TBR bookcase. It's gotten that out of hand. And I've done TBR book declutters and extreme elimination rounds before, but I think my last one was like maybe 2 years ago. And it's just gotten bad again. So I think it's time that we do another declutter reorganization of the TBR bookcase because it's stressing me out. So without further ado, grab a drink, grab a snack, and buckle in. Come join me as we spring clean and declutter my TBR pile. Send up a quick prayer to the literary deities, and let's go. All right, we're here, and we're holding our mic because, of course, now's the time that the city of Vancouver decides to start weed whacking, even though they've been quiet this entire day. I swear, they know, and they wish to vex me. You guys are a little far away. Oh, sorry, did not all of you have a deer skull in your bedroom? Loser. So you might see this and you're like, okay, yeah, that's like kind of bad. That's not the worst part, because you see we go up and then we also go down. Like, that's a problem. I am the problem. I'm the problem, it's me. Before we begin this endeavor, quick disclaimer that yes, I do have in fact a lot of books, and I'm in a very privileged position to be able to afford these things, and I, have a day job, and I buy them myself, and also sometimes I get sent things because I'm a book blogger, so like half the stuff on here I have been sent. I'm very lucky to be in that position. I don't mean to sound ungrateful when I'm getting rid of things. Some of these things were bought for me, some of these things were sent to me, and some of them were simply purely financial mistakes on my part. I decided to do this video literally this morning when I got sent a copy of Asunder by Kirsten Hall from Tor. New standalone novel about a girl who speaks the dead and is locked in this bargain with an eldritch god who's like a three-faced, 100-winged, unforgiving creature of old. And when I get something new, I'll take it from its packaging and I will place it on the TBR bookcase. And I will reenact for you what happened this morning. Shit. And as you can see, there is no rhyme or reason in the way that I'm abusing this IKEA bookcase. She's just, everything's getting shoved in there, piled on. I don't even want to talk about the stuff on the floor, okay? I don't even know how one of those piles got there. So my goals for this shelf today are to declutter, get rid of a couple of things, and also somehow organize my advanced copies. Okay, we're gonna start with all the things that are horizontal. Oh, and thankfully they stopped weed whacking, so we can do this hands-free. And there. Okay, so let's have a look at these first. This is a plain bound manuscript that I drew on myself. Wow, that's dusty. Garden of the Curse by Katie Rose Poole. I was debating getting rid of this, but then I just saw a friend, Kat Reads It, recommend this, so I guess I'm gonna be keeping it. This is an advanced copy, but this is already out. Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairy, I've heard mixed reviews on, because some people say that it's great representation, and some people say it's bad representation, which just goes to show that everyone's experience is different. But I think I'm going to keep this and read it. Actually, these two books I just thrifted in my last video. The Deep by River Solomon, which is like scary mermaids, and then also Bitten by Kelly Armstrong, which actually I've already read this, but like I didn't know what happened to my copy, so I bought a new one. This needs to go on my actual read shelves. So I guess this is the first one we're moving off of the TBR book pile. It's not really because like I'm getting rid of it, I'm just relocating the problem. One of the latest advanced copies I just got is I'm Afraid You've Got Dragons by Peter S. Beagle. Oh my god, my childhood. I'm so excited to read this. And when does this come out? I should actually start thinking. This comes out in May. And A Place for Vanishing, which is creepy house, and my girlfriend read and loved it, so we're definitely keeping this one. Let's do the stuff up on top. First bunch. The Last Blood Carver by Vanessa Lee is, I just got this sent to me by Raincoast, and it's like Vietnamese-inspired fantasy world with like medical stuff and magic, so we're keeping this one. Okay, this is also in my last thrift video. I found a signed hardcover edition of The Mask Falling. And actually, this is something that I have 2 copies of, so perfect. I'm keeping this one and I'm getting rid of this one. Something else I'm getting rid of is Simply the Best by Elizabeth Phillips, because this is something that I don't really read, but I did get sent it, so I'll pass this on probably to my aunt. She loves books like this. And then the other 2 things are actually book journals. I was sent this by Papier. It's personalized. It's so lovely. I really like their company, by the way. And then this one was sent to me by Vintage Anchor Press, but it's a moleskin book journal, and I have not written in either of these, so of course I'm gonna keep them. Are you really a bookworm if you're not a sucker for a pretty notebook that you hoard and then never write in? Second stack. I got sent a copy of All Roads Lead Here by Avon. I do want to read this because Mountain Daddy. Oh, when did this come out? It's out already, perfect. Oh, here's another good opportunity, The Poisons We Drink. I know I have 2 copies. Where's my other copy? Oh, there she is. Okay, so we got 2 of these bad boys. This is already out. Oops. So I'll donate this one and we'll put this one in the TBR pile. And then we had 3 advanced copies I'm really excited about. So first of all, we have The Sky on Fire by Jed Lyons, which I'm like losing my shit over. We got cool dragon stuff. We got Dark Restraint from Katie Robert, part of the Dark Olympus series, because my friends at Raincoast know that I am obsessed with the series. And The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King was sent to me by Bramble, which this comes out in June, and this is the sequel to The Serpent and the Wings of Night. There are other advanced copies on the top shelf, so we're gonna pull those out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, no, 11, because I know this isn't out yet, but I did get sent a hardcover copy of Otherworldly by F.T. Lukens by Simon Teen. Thank you guys very much. It comes out in April or May, so we are going to move this to the read more immediately pile. Okay, we're gonna put all these advanced copies aside for just a second. So these 3 hardcovers, Tor sent me both The Atlas Complex and Tress of the Emerald Sea. This is the year that I'm forcing myself to read sequels because I love to read a book and then buy a sequel and then never read the sequel. And for some reason, I managed to read and loved both of the first Atlas books. So this is gonna go on my high priority TBR. I need to finish this damn series. And I'm not sure if I'm nervous to read a new Cassandra Clare book or if I'm burnt out on Cassandra Clare books. And I won't know until I read it. So I've just been putting off reading it. These are going to go on my slightly less urgent TBR pile. I'm already running into problems because I'm like, oh, another thing I'm gonna put on my like high priority TBR pile. Bitch, that's the entire shelf. That's all of this. You just gestured to all of me. I just read a Danielle L. Jensen book, which was A Fate Inked in Blood, and I loved it. I love her Bridge Kingdom series, and I bought this, which is the 4th one, and then I didn't read it, so I'm physically moving this somewhere else. I'm gonna make a new pile. It's gonna be right here. 2 more books that I want to keep but are not high priority are The Hunt by Z.W. Taylor, which was sent to me by Wattpad and is the sequel to The Bite, which I actually really, really loved. Great allegorical werewolf book. And The Dark Fable by Catherine Harbour, which is kind of like a Venetian Six of Crows. And we are going to be keeping all 3 of these things. This is Truthfully Yours by Kate Armstrong. This is a really cute contemporary that is from a book blogger that I've been following for years and years, so she sent this to me. She's very sweet. And then 2 books that I was influenced to read from Book Talk were The Pomegranate Gate by Ariel Kaplan and So Let Them Burn by Camila Cole. These both have bangin' maps, which means that I can never get rid of them. Oh, we have our first treasure. What is this? Oh, that is so dusty, good lord. Well, we got a sticker sheet for Sizzle Reel and Wild Things, which I'm pretty sure are 2 books that I got rid of. But you know what? Some of those stickers are pretty cute. We're gonna keep this. I literally bought a Swiffer. Not sponsored. I did buy this so that I could dust my regular bookshelves and get rid of all the bone dust that's accumulated in my apartment because of crafting shenanigans. Oh yeah, look at that. Spring cleaning. How are we only on the 2nd shelf? As you can see, this is where I started getting crafty because I was like, oh, I know, to cram more onto this, I'll put them sideways. Improvise, adapt, overcome. Okay, let's see. We're definitely gonna keep Sing You to Sleep. This is an advanced copy from last June. Didn't I already debate Decluttering Unspoken Name like last year, 2 years ago? I think I did, and I haven't picked it up since then. I'm gonna get rid of it. Oh my god, I feel so free. The 5th season, I feel like I do have to keep because people have already been yelling at me to read it, and it hasn't worked so far, but maybe this year it will. I think I'm also going to get rid of the Jinbot of Shantaport because I heard just okay things about this, or maybe I'll put this in like a purgatory, like a trial run basis. I'll read a couple chapters, and if I don't like it, then it's out. Other advanced copies that I'm going to keep from this shelf are Camp Damascus, which was sent to me by Tor, Deep as the Sky, Red as the Sea by Rita Chang Epig, also known as Das Rats, was sent to me by Bloomsbury, and I am going to keep this because this is like Chinese pirate queens. And then, I have the sequel. I have an advanced copy sequel of The Shadow Cabinet by Juno Dawson from Penguin that I got last May, that I know people who would have cut their right arm off for, and it's just been sitting collecting dust on my shelf for a year. So if you would like to file a formal complaint with my people, feel free. It's AModelWho'sRead@gmail.com, and we will not be getting back to you. Something else I know people would have chewed a leg off for is He Who Drowned the World by Shelley Parker Chan. I also heard this one wasn't as good as the first one, so I'm gonna put this in the trial run section. The Witch King by Martha Wells was one of my most anticipated books. I got it from Tor, didn't read it. I think I'm gonna put this into purgatory. I don't know, why do I keep calling it purgatory? Among Thieves by MJ Kuhn was sent to me by the author like 2 years ago. I'm so sorry. She's so nice. This is another, like, the Heist Six of Crows book. I'm gonna put this into my Uber hyperdrive TBR pile. August Kiko and the Mechas from Space, and where's that other one? Battle of the Linguist Mages by Scott O'Moore. These fall into the same category as like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which I also have. These all fall into that same kind of like quick, witty, comedy sci-fi that I really love, but I have to be in the mood for it. And I guess I just haven't been in a fun, silly, goofy mood for, well, at least a year, because I bought that last summer. I'm putting all of these into my trial run section. Okay, one that I know I'm gonna get rid of is The Resort by Sarah Ox. Not that this is bad or that I don't like her, I just don't read thrillers. And I think, again, my aunt would enjoy this a lot more than I would. Okay, we got some teen books. We got Aces Wild by Amanda DeWitt, which is a fully ace cast doing a heist, which I do want to read. And then we also have Arona's Fate by Kaylee Smith, which don't remember what this is about, but I do remember that it came in a PR package that gave me so much fake moss that I've been crafting with it for over a year now, and I still have some left. Oh, but it has a bitchin' map. Ah, fuck, I gotta keep it. Ooh, there's something in the back. What are you? Oh, a long time dead! I have the object permanence of a goldfish. If it's not directly in front of me, I forget that it exists. That's why I don't usually read ebooks, because I forget that they're there. But this is Sapphic Vampires, so we gotta keep it, and I'm gonna move it here. I'm also keeping these two books, Tripping Arcadia by Kit Maquist, which is a really cool sounding gothic, and The Longest Autumn by Amy Avery, which has to do with like autumn gods. I mean, these are both pretty fall books, and it is now spring. So can I rewire my own brain to read them and not wait till fall? I suppose we'll find out. And then we have a dark romance that is a Medusa retelling, but dark academia and sapphic. I do want to read this, and it's not that long. I'm gonna put this in my priority TBR pile. And then this big girl I saw recommended to me on TikTok as like a cool fae book, and I found it randomly in a used bookstore, and everyone was losing their minds because they're like, that's an indie book, how in the world did you get that there? And I'm like, I have no idea how this even made it to Canada. So I'm excited and I want to read it. Like, that's not the reason for this entire thing. I know. But we're gonna keep it. Oh my god, I'm sweaty. Okay, we're gonna move you guys down just a little bit. So I'm already seeing some things here that we are going to pull to put on my, like, Uber fast track reading pile. First of all, Duet with the Siren Duke by Elise Kova, because I read the rest of the Married to Magic series, and then people have been like, where's Siren Duke? And I'm like, Jesus Christ, okay, my god. Also moving The Spear Cuts Through Water by Simon Jimenez, because I've been meaning to read it for so long, and people on TikTok are yelling at me, and I cave easy to peer pressure. And also, I have 2 copies, count them, 2 copies of The Echoed Realm by AJ Vrana, who is a close personal friend of mine, who I have still not read the sequel to her book yet. I really like The Hollow Gods, and the new continuation companion series, Wild Blood, is coming out in the fall. I'm literally going to her wrap party, and I still haven't read the sequel, even though I have read the first one in like 2020. So, oh Jesus Christ, it's been 4 years? Alex, I'm so sorry. So these must be moved. You know what? Let's pull out the rest of the sequels, shall we? We got City of Vicious Night, which is the sequel to... Oh no, Claire Wynn, what's your first book? City of Shattered Light, correct, I knew it. Bunch of goodies that she sent me, and like, look, the villain, she looks like me. And then Tor sent me both A Restless Truth and A Power Unbound, which are the two sequel companions to A Marvelous Light, which I really enjoyed, and I really want to read this series. And these are like historical queer romanticities. Then we also have Chasm by Stacey McEwen. I, again, loved Ledge. Thought it was a great first book. I was so excited to get the sequel. I was part of the blog tour. I posted so much about it, and I have not read it, Stacey and Grew Up Books. I'm so sorry. And then we have Nemesis by S.J. Kincaid, which, oh my god, girl, like, wow, what an incredible sci-fi series that I never ever finished. We gotta keep them all, but I'm gonna move most of these to the higher priority list because I want to read these ones, and also Valley comes out in the fall. Whoopsies. One I might pass on is Venom and Vow by Anna Marie and Elliot McClemore, because I heard from other people this was kind of confusing, even though I do really like their writing. But I think I might give this to my younger cousin. Lies We Sing to the Sea by Sarah Underwood. I really want to read because it's an Odyssey retelling, and apparently it's gonna wreck me. But I've already gotten wrecked in the first quarter of this year by My Throat and Open Grave. So I'm so sorry, you will have to reapply for emotional wreckage next term, but we are going to be keeping this. And also Strike the Zither by Joan He. This one I'm kind of not sure about because it's a retelling of a Chinese classic, and I know the sequel comes out soon, but I have also not been jazzed. Oh, wait a minute. June He, June Tan, Shirin J. Zhao, Chloe Gong, Olivia Blake, Hannah Witten, Margaret Owen, and Judy Lin blurb this? Bitch, what am I talking about? The Whispering Dark by Kelly Andrew is a dark academia gothic with a deaf main character. I kind of forgot about this, actually, so we're gonna put this here. And The Buried and the Bound is one that I picked up a couple months ago. This has to do with Fae folklore, of course. We're gonna put this here. And considering that Catherine Ann Valente is one of my favorite authors of all time, and Radiance is pitched as a deco-punk, pulp sci-fi, alt-history, space opera mystery set in a Hollywood solar system, I gotta keep this. Oh, okay, we have stuff getting crossed out. Oh, bitch, I love when stuff gets crossed out. What does that mean? And then this stack of dark horror fantasy stuff, I want to keep it all. Keeping Dragon's Breath, because I want to give this a second shot. I started reading this last summer and didn't love it, but I want to love it. So I'm going to force myself to love it. The Unbroken by C.L. Clark is part of the Sapphic trifecta of TikTok, but it's just, she's so big and she's intimidating. You know, sometimes you see a tall, thick girl and you're like, hey, do you want to go out for a drink sometime? That's how I feel about this book. I'm literally getting sent the sequel to The Ebony Gate, The Jade Throne, in 3 days. I'm so sorry, Julia V and Ken Babel. You guys sound so nice, and I loved getting this. But you know what? Then I'll have the sequel, and then I'll read them back to back. Plan. The Dead Take the A Train by Cassandra Khaw and Richard Kadri, first of all, is so fucking cool to look at. This I'm going to pass on to my girlfriend because she reads more horror than I do. Oh, you know what? That's also a lot of worms. I bet my friend Jenna would like this as well. Okay, this is getting passed on to get read, and then I can hear them tell me about it. That's how I like to consume my horror movies. That's how I will consume this book, before this book consumes me. Malice by Heather Walter is a sapphic fantasy, and that's all I know about it, which was enough for me to buy it. I'm not really huge on Sleeping Beauty retellings, but everyone has been like, oh my god, mommy, over the villain lady, so we gotta keep it. Oh, I was so excited because I was like, oh, sick, we only have one more shelf to go down here. And then I looked at the floor. I forgot there were floor books. All right, I'll meet you on the floor. Oh, my tea. Frick. Let's pull the definitely keeping out of this pile. First up is Girl Goddess Queen by B. Fitzgerald, because y'all know I am a fiend for a Hades and Persephone retelling. And that's what this is. River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross. I love Rebecca Ross, and I can talk about this book because this is a Harper title, not an SMP title, because the SMP boycott is still on, so keeping this. Actually, while we're on that subject, this is a stack. Hold on, let me give you the full picture. This is a stack of all of the books that have been sent to me by St. Martin's Press since the boycott began. So that was last fall. I wish I could talk about any of these, except I can't because you guys won't address very legitimate concerns about the safety and inclusivity of the book community. So when you guys talk about that, I will talk about these, and I really, really want to, but but I can't until the boycott's over. So keep an eye out for maybe one day when SMP finally decides to, you know, speak up on stuff. And then I'm also definitely keeping Bone Season and Babel. I started reading Babel when it first came out, got about a third in, and then just never picked it up again, which I do realize is a crime. And then this is the 10th anniversary edition of the Bone Season that was sent to me by Bloomsbury, and I have it on here instead of my other shelves because this is the author's preferred revised edition, because Samantha Shannon is re-editing the Bone Season up till, I guess, the 4th book, and then continuing to write it. I just realized I could categorize it with The Mask Falling, but I don't know what pile that's in. We'll figure it out later, we're keeping it. And then these 3 massive fantasy novels are all ones that I'm also going to put into my purgatory, my trial run section, because I did start reading Sons of Darkness. I literally did promo for it. You can see my little bookmarks in there. And I did like it, but it was weird. Do I let my guilt tether me to something that I know probably would be healthier if I just got rid of? Yes. And then Kakei and the Stardust Thief are both books that I got from Book of the Month, but they've just been on my shelf for so long that I don't remember what they're about. And, you know, if I haven't picked them up by now, probably haven't picked them up for a reason. I say having like 60 unread books. So I'm gonna put these aside and read like 4 chapters from each of them. And then if I like them, I'll keep them. And if I don't, then they're gone. And then all these bitches are both sequels, all sequels, the 2nd and 3rd of both the Cushiel's Dart series by Jacqueline Carey, which I was sent by Tor, and the 2 sequels to Claire Legrand's Furyborn. I know people that would have sold their soul for this particular advance copy, but I wasn't offered any souls, so they've just been rotting away on this shelf of mine. I want to read these series, I want to finish these series. That is going to be a problem for future Rachel. Bone Shard Emperor by Andrea Stewart. I might actually get rid of this one because I hear people are kind of upset about how the series ended. So, since I loved the first one, maybe I'll just keep it and be like, oh, it's totally just a standalone. There's definitely no sequels. If I'm good at anything, it's being delusional. So I think we're gonna do that. I'm gonna get rid of this and just pretend that the whole series is just one book. Seven Mercies by Laura Lam and Elizabeth May, aka the sequel to one of my favorite books of all time, which is Seven Devils. We're putting this in high priority TBR because this is the year that I read sequels, and this is a sequel that I need to read. And lastly of this shelf is This Woven Kingdom by Tahereh Mafi. I don't remember what this is about, but I do have the packing slip from February of 2022. This also, I think I'm going to try reading a chapter or 2 of, and if I like it, I'll keep it, and if I won't, then I'll pass it on. Okay. Shelves, very clean. Floor, a disaster. Let's go on to the other 2, 3.5 piles that we still have to go. First of all, we have the dust jacket for the Hurricane Wars, because I'm finally starting to read this. So we're keeping this. To Cage a God by Elizabeth May. Same Elizabeth May as this book. Keeping this one, it sounds so freaking cool, and I just bought it. And then I also just bought this 2 more sequels. The Battle Drum by Sarah Al-Arifi. I'm so flippin' excited over because this is the soft cover, UK cover, to match my soft cover UK cover of the first one. And Sunbringer, which is the sequel to God Killer by Hannah Kanner, which also freaking excited for. We'll put in high priority TBR. 2 books from my backlist that I am prepared to hear you scream at me about is Legendborn and Bloodmarked, which, yes, I know I have not read, and at this point it's just principle. Now I'm going to be waiting for the 3rd and 4th book to come out. So this actually is all part of a long-term plan. I Feed Her to the Beast and the Beast is Me by Jameson Shia. I got sent this by... Oh, who did I get sent this by? I got sent it by Raincoast? Killer ballerinas, people making deals with sentient pools of blood, something something Edgar Allan Poe retelling. We're gonna keep it, but I don't know if I'm going to read it right now. We might have to save this for next Halloween. We Free the Stars. I don't want to hear it, okay? Keep it. Bones of Ruin and The Blood Trials are 2 books that I have heard good things about, but questionable things about the sequels. So yet again, I'm kind of nervous about starting them. So I'm going to put these both in my read 2 chapters and see if I like it pile. Y'all want to see something funny? need to recycle this. Oh no, another pile off to the side that I forgot about. I am fairly confident I'm getting rid of all of these because these are already in a pile of things that I was thinking of getting rid of if I didn't think to pick them up in like 3 months, and I think it's been longer than that, considering the amount of dust that's on these. And in that pile are The Midnight Bargain by Seal Polk, which I thrifted a little while ago and then forgot about. A Venom Dark and Sweet by Judy Lynn. Loved the first one, heard bad things about the second one. Scarlet Alchemist, which was sent to me by Harper Teen, and I forget that it exists all the time. Remnants of Blood by H.F. Cunningham was sent to me. This is an indie press book about fairy folklore, which is usually an automatic sale for me, but I read a couple chapters and the writing's not for me. But if you would perhaps like to pick this up, you can go and do that. You can go spend your money dollars on supporting an indie author. And The First Bright Thing by J.R. Dawson. Read a couple chapters, didn't really love the writing. Even though I love a magic circus, I forget this exists. So we're passing that on. Oh my god, okay. Sir, was that necessary? Hey, no, come back. Let me sleep with you. Oh my god, your motorcycle is so loud and sexy. And lastly, final 4. First up is Fathom Folk by Eliza Chan. I'm putting this in my high priority TBR because it's so beautiful, but it's also about like magical creatures in a flooded city and alchemy, which is just so in these days. Can't tell what my high priority TBR pile is. There's so many piles and they all look good. And I also bought An Education in Malice, which is S.T. Gibson's latest book, which is a retelling of Carmilla, aka Sexy Sapphic Vampires, but dark academia and poly-power thruples. And probably lots of blood. A high priority TBR pile. I think that's that one at least. And lastly are 2 sequels. It was always gonna come to this. One of these I bought, and one of these I was sent. I have both Blade Breaker and Fate Breaker, which are the 2 sequels to Realm Breaker by Victoria Aveyard. Realm Breaker was a fantastic fantasy novel. I love the way that Victoria Aveyard's writing has grown and changed. And I have the sequels, but I'm bad at reading them. So I'm gonna move these higher up on this shelf so that it tricks my brain into thinking that they're higher priority, because they are. I want to read this series. I want to finish a series. I want to have a finished series on my shelf and look at it and go, oh wow, I'm so proud of myself for reading all 3 of those books. 2024 is the year of sequels, mark my words. Oh no, it's not the end, because I forgot about this stack that I said I'd get to later. Oh my god, this is my Sisyphean task. This is a stack of advanced copies that I've gotten over the last couple of months that I need to sort by date. So I guess I'm gonna meet you back up there so that I can sort these things. I can start putting all of these back. Ow. Oh my god. Why does my body feel like it's breaking apart? Hello, we're back. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna organize my advanced copies by release date. Dark Restraint is on the top of the pile, and this is in August, so we're gonna use that as a benchmark for August. Evocation by S.T. Gibson is May. When Among Crows by Veronica Roth, and Fireborn Blade by Charlotte Bond. These are both also May. Twelfth Night by Alexine Farrell-Fullmouth, aka Olivia Blake. This is in June. As is Foul Days by Genoveva Dimova. Daughters of Olympus by Hannah Lynn is July. Oops, Projections by S.E. Porter. This apparently came out in February. My bad. How to End a Love Story by Yulin Kwong. I think this actually just came out, but we're gonna still put this in the April section, so that's heading the team. Oh, whoops, Manila Takes Manhattan came out in March. And Running Close to the Wind by Alexandra Rowland. This comes out also in June. I swear I had more. Oh, there they are. Gin Daughter comes out in April. I'm Afraid You've Got Dragons comes out in May. Ashes and the Star-Cursed King is June. Sky on Fire is July. Stop that. And Asunder is joining KB Robert and coming out in August. Okay, that's the most important part. So now we can just start slapping stuff on here. I'm gonna put the books that I've deemed high priority TBR up there as well. This is the part where you're just gonna see swaths of books show up, because it's just gonna be me playing Tetris and not talking to the camera, because organizing books at this scale is a one brain cell activity. Oh, I better put heavy stuff on the bottom, because that's how science works. Alright, you know what? We're going off the rails. This is the Wild West that your grandparents talked about. I've literally already run out of space. And I have 22! I have 22 more books that I somehow have to fit on the shelf. Okay, how can I cheat the system? We are going to remove some of the ones up on my high priority TBR list and put them somewhere else. Because if I relocate the problem, that means my brain will be looking at them being like, oh, those don't belong there. We need to do something with them, and then I'll read it. Okay, so these five that I've just pulled, I'm going to put on my coffee table. I don't know how I thought that I could fit 22 books into the space that 5 books left behind, but that's bookworm math. All this luxurious space that's recently been opened up. Let's put in A River Enchanted and Seven Devils. Okay, last minute decision, late in the game. I'm removing Otherworldly to join those 6 books that I want to read. And I still have all of these to somehow fit on this shelf. And you know what? I might have to admit defeat. I don't think I'm gonna do it. So these ones are going to have to stay on the floor. So we're going down from having 4 stacks of books on the floor to having 2 stacks of books on the floor. Okay, yeah, and then there's 2, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, 11 books that are on probation. Probation! That's the word I've been looking for, not purgatory. All the books that I did not keep, I will be donating to either my local secondhand bookshop or to Value Village or to friends or family. You know what? I do feel better. I do feel a lot better. My brain is so happy that this is just nicely shelved. Nothing's crammed in there. Thank you all for joining me on today's spring cleaning mission. I'm very glad all of us made it out alive. What this has taught me is I need to say no to more things, and I need to dust more regularly. Now, normally I would say, please leave down below your thoughts, or like if you think I'm making a grievous mistake by getting rid of any of these, but no, not this time. I do not need people to enable me. This is not the time nor the place. I need to get rid of things. Maybe this video could act as like a body doubling video for people that also need to like watch somebody do a task so that they can do a task. Maybe this is body doubling to help you get rid of books. Right? I'm over here making educational content. I need a snack. I need to email my local secondhand bookshop to see if they're taking in any new stock. And I need a vacuum cleaner. You know where to click to like the video. You know where to click to subscribe. I hope you guys are all having a nice day wherever you are, and I will see you all next week. Bye!